please welcome the next team to present their paper under the segment of Rise to New Vistas titled Science of Satisfaction, Harnessing Cognitive Palatability Assessment.
Afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about a cohort that rarely gets researched, our pets. Now, I'll be honest, considerable love did get into this project, but that for another day. The focus of the topic today is on understanding palatability and acceptance of pet food. In addition to that, we also understand the consumption behavior, the concerns the pet parents have, what really transpires in this entire scenario. Let's get started. Now, pets are no longer just animals. They're not just guards. They're not just our playmates. They're part of our family. They're crucial to the entire fabric of the unit. Now, keeping that in mind, we had to develop a research which is going to be fundamental to that. It was important to understand this entire dynamics that was at play. What did we observe? It was interesting to observe that the pets meant so much that even a non-veg food came into the house for a vegetarian family. Why did that happen? That happened because the pet was so crucial to this entire fabric of the unit. Now, keeping that in mind, the research couldn't be just a standard research that would do with standard groups, standard DIs. No, that couldn't work. It needed to be a lot more than that, and that is what we'll talk of. Now, what did we really do? What we did, I'm going to talk about the kind of challenges that were at play here. The first being the target group. How do you decode a bark? How do you decode a meow? How do you decode gentle nudges when they come and talk to you? They do talk, they do express, but how does one decode that? That was difficult. In addition to that, there was also complexity of understanding between the cats as well as the dogs, the babies that were there within that entire age group. How do you decode the needs? How do you decode the nutritional needs of the pet per se? We also knew that the pet parents were making food for the babies as well. How do you understand this entire dynamics? In addition to that, we also knew as the pets aged, it came with it a lot more diseases, a lot more ailments. So one needed to be aware of that as well, because we had to develop a product which is going to be closely connected to the needs of those pets. This wasn't easy. Now, throw in this entire mix the needs of the pet parents as well. What were they talking about? They belong to different geographies, they belong to different cultural groups, they belong to different religious groups as well. Hindus, Muslims, everybody's needs were different. What they were seeking from the food itself was different. It's not easy. And then throw in the third mix of where they stay, the apartments, the societies, the large bungalows. It's all different because that would have an impact in terms of how the pet was interacting with the food, and therefore, was he healthy? Was he not healthy? What really should we do? Now, it was something which was a sensitive topic. You heard me did say that the pet parents were very, very closely bonded with those animals. So we needed to decode quite a bit. Let's add in the second complexity, the client, Nestle. They wanted to understand and develop a product which was going to be most suited and most favored for the pet. In addition to that, we also needed to understand what kind of culturally relevant message and communication should we be developing for them. It can't be the same for a cat as well as a dog. The needs were different. How do you analyze behavior? How do you understand this entire cultural dynamics which was at play? I'm going to talk about that in just a couple of seconds, but have a see of the video.
India, pets are more than companions. They are family. Understanding this unique bond is crucial for any brand looking at this market.
Treat our pet like our family. We even clarify his nurser, and at times I also feed him by my hands. He is the most important member of our family. We love him.
This is our boy Rob, and we only feed him home cooked meals. And fish is his favorite meal. And our Rob?
Nestle and Ipsos joined forces to explore this uncharted territory. Through innovative video analytics, feeding and interaction footage were analyzed to understand various aspects. Activity trackers provided further details that established a connection between behavior and product consumption, while IRT technology measured how quickly pets consume various products. AI-powered platforms transformed millions of pet parent voices into data-driven insights, helping refine product prototypes. A multidisciplinary team developed sophisticated algorithms, combining traditional expertise with cutting-edge technology to translate pet behaviors into actionable data. The findings revealed deep insights into pet feeding habits, cultural nuances, and complex preferences. This insight-driven process is driving multiple new launches into the pet product space for Nestlé in India.
So let me summarize for you. What did we do? That's a quick recap now. Of course, Shelly will be talking about this at length. But the first being that there was a lot of information that was already existing and it was important to tap into that, which is where Synthesio came, which is our social intelligence platform, which is in-house. We knew that there is tons and tons of data which needed to be mined. It was important to understand what were the different trends that are already being talked about, the different kind of foods. The pet parents were already discussing about different brands, the different needs of the pets. It was important to decode that. In addition to that, what we also did was talk to specialists. We talked to vet, we talked to breeders, we talked to people who understand animals and how do you decode expression. That was the first part of it. Armed with this information, we went to collect this data. How did we collect this? Here is where technology came into play. The first being, since we were testing product as well as understand the existing food consumption behavior as well, we employed IRT to understand further how is it that food is getting consumed, what really is transpiring, are they enjoying their meal, how quickly are they finishing that bowl. Activity trackers helped us to further understand, was the food helping them, was it keeping them active, was it keeping them lethargic, were they enjoying it per se as well. Video analytics helped us in decoding expression. Now, there was a lot of data that we had at hand, but this needed to be taken a step further, which is where we employed 4AI. Now, what is that? That's a technology platform which helps you understand and take the insights to the next level. How do you develop product which could be beyond just the human capacity? How do you think beyond that? And that is what the platform helped us do. We developed a lot of ideas for product as well as communication.
I'll detail the entire methodology. So coming to the first step, which Maitri talked about the conception. Here what we actually did is that we employed with a lot of experts and specialists, which were actually array of people like, seasoned vets, pet psychologists, walkers, trainers, etc. And they had basically helped us in arriving at some algorithms and scales like happiness scales, food palatability scale. They trained the team on decoding the meows and the barks and how do we decode the wags of the tails and even the type of the poop, etc. and how does it tell and what does it tell about the pet. Along with the experts, we had used the AI-powered social intelligence tool, which is Synthesio. And of course, it used millions of consumer voices around pet food into the actionable insights and trends. We, of course, redefined value, speed, and simplicity with this AI-powered tool. Both these methodologies formed the foundation for the upcoming modules. The second module, which was about collection, it used the triangulation of different methodologies, the first being the double bowl method with IRT. Here we actually immersed ourselves with pet parents and almost spent the entire day in life with them. We analyzed how they are feeding their pets, what is the behavior, what is the meal composition like, what is the emotional bond between a pet parent and the pet. And this was coupled with the IRT, which helped to gauge specific indicator like speed of consumption and thus the palatability of the prototype that we had tested in the homes of the pet parents. However, we understand it for pet parents, it wasn't only about the speed or the way they were eating food, it was also about the incremental level of activity and the response post-consumption. Hence, the activity trackers came into play. And of course, these were technology-enabled wearable devices which could be attached to dog collars. And with GPS and different things that it offered, we could analyze the incremental level of the activity pre and post meal. At the third stage, we used video analytics capability of ipsos facto. We had thousands of minutes of videos from these pet parents' homes. And of course, they talked about, how they were treating their pets, what were the meal timings, what was the meal composition, etc. And the whole thing was analyzed using ipsos facto. The third stage, which was very important, dissemination stage, we all understand that, most often than not, the presentations lie in our inboxes and forgotten. But here we wanted to make an impact, and of course, again, the AI came to empower us to do this. There was a collaboration which was a key in this step with all the stakeholders at Nestle, because this was a big thing because they were launching Purina into market. We used the AI advantage because it helped transcend the human limits in the idea generation. And imagine we could create 36 concepts in straight 30 minutes, and of course that formed a lot of foundation for brainstorming within the stakeholders at this stage, and we used our 4.ai workshopping tool for this. The impact was loud and clear. We could arrive at the winning prototype and flavor as per the Indian pet needs and the market, which is soon to be launched under brand Purina. There are product ideas which are also soon to be executed, like DIY products, because we understood that in market like India, a lot of parents wanted to make food for their pet parents, and hence these DIY products are also coming in play. There is a Ask Nestle, which is in process of launch too. And thirdly, which was important for us, because Ipsos and Nestle partnered a similar research in other countries as well. And of course, India market is spearheading this. Let's
Ipsos, we are
just hear
embedding
the
newer
stakeholders.
technologies like generative AI extensively in the work that we do. We use Ipsos Facto, our own GenAI platform, to do tasks such as analyze videos, build concepts, identify early trends. We also do extensive analysis of social media data using generative AI. We are happy to partner with Nestle in this journey to drive extensive technology usage in the work that we do. Thank you.
The research used a combination of different tools and techniques while unpeeling the human mind and understanding the cultural context in a great amount of detail. The research used AI algorithms, used activity tracking, as well as understanding the cultural context in a very seamless way, joining up different facets to be able to get a good combination of unpeeling the mind together with the machine, and also busting certain myths that we had about the entire world of humans and pets and food.
Thank you. We hope that we were able to bring alive the entire journey with our furry companions in these 10 minutes for you.
Hi, so we have one question here. What specific cultural factors and pet preferences unique to India were considered when developing the standardized testing protocols, and how do these differ from global food industry standards?
I would hold my reservations in talking about the global standardization, because that was not within the scope, but what we did focus was on the localization per se, and keeping in mind India being so diverse. So we know that in North versus South, there were cultural differences when it came to the kind of consumption of food that was being given. We know that there were it was very, very varied in terms of the kind of vegetarian food came in versus in the North versus South. We also saw that a lot of feeding of the parents, pet parents also happened by feeding the pet per se. So there were small nuances. I'm not saying that it varied but too much, but certain standardization in terms of the kind of milk that was being given, the vegetables that were being given, fruits that came in, which one thought that would not really be happening as much in the North, all of it was happening. It was interesting because one wouldn't think that you would be doing, there would be so much of difference, but local flavor did enter in this category.
Just to add to this, globally, sometimes we see that, the pets were not as attached and not seen as children of the home. However, in this case, we were also surprised by some findings like, they were fed with hands. They were given Cerelacs, they were given milk, which was almost like an Indian cultural system and the DNA, and of course, that also flowed in the type and the way we are feeding our pets.
It even went a step further by, we are just a little passionate about this piece of work. We also saw that pets were, their nazar was being utaroed, almost to the effect that that is what it really meant. That was how closely ingrained that love was in the unit. So one needed to be sensitive on all those fronts.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.